Welcome back to the channel. Season 17 has drawn to a close and we're going to end it by taking a look at the very best battles that people have won using nothing but shadow Pokemon. All the battles that have been featured in this video have been submitted by members of my Discord. If you want to join the Discord, it's linked down below. I will be holding some polls on my community tab to find the very best battle, and the winner will be gifted an event ticket of their choice courtesy of me. Let's keep the intro short and sweet. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. First up, we have an entry from the Charon's Claw. Not off to the best start. Donphan into Swampert ground, a dreadful defensive typing, weak to water amongst many other common threats. We invest the Protect Shield on the Hydro Cannon over farm, fire off the Body Slam, forcing our Protect Shield back. The opponent then pivot out into Licky, far too thicky the Charon's Claw. Full send the Earthquake does the opponent. Respect the damage, they do not. Licky straight in and straight out. Get that stupid meta bitch off my screen. The opponent's final Pokemon is Gligar. The Charon's Claw over farms, fires off the Body Slam on the CMP tie, forcing the final Protect Shield. Season 17's MVP, Wish Daddy Cash, going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting as Tentacruel, going to be pretty useless against the two ground types the opponent's got. And as I say that the Charon's Claw looking to completely sack Tentacruel, we pivot out, catching the dig. The opponent then pivot back out into Swampert, get the Mud Shot farm down. It's now all down to Daddy Cash. The opponent full send the Earthquake. Wish Cash able to survive, fire off the Mud Bomb secures a knockout. We leave with the Scald, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Shout out to the Charon's Claw, starting off the video with plenty of booms. In the next battle, we've got KitKat Deluxe and another absolute yikes lead. We see the instant pivot into Excadrill, drawing out Wish Daddy Cash. KitKat over farms, fires off the Drill Run on the CMP tie. Drill Run goes unshielded, and despite Excadrill hitting like a truck, it didn't do all that much damage. KitKat shields up the Mud Bomb once again. We can throw 4 Mud Shots, throw the Drill Run on the CMP tie. The opponent lightly shield, looking to maintain that really positive alignment. KitKat very much looking like a victim of the algorithm, as this is RPS hell. KitKat shields up the Mud Bomb, desperately looking to take back switch. Again, farms up, throws this time the Rock Slide on the CMP tie. Rock Slide goes shielded. The opponent says, KitKat, you will not be having switch today. Mud Bomb secures the knockout. We can send back out Dragonite, commit to the Dragon Breath farm down, but this looks dreadful. The opponent, of course, sends back out Whimsicott. KitKat banks the superpower, pivots into Sonic, and hopefully Sonic's good against whatever's in the back. The opponent looking to chip and dip, fire off the Moonblast, despite being resisted, does almost half our HP. The opponent sends out Golbat. KitKat fires off the Ice Punch. Ice Punch does reasonable damage, unfortunately not enough to get the job done. Shadow Ball will be taking us out. It's now all down to Dragonite. Dragonite comes in, gets the Dragon Breath farm down. We can at least hit Whimsicott, 4 single resisted with the superpower, and KitKat's almost at the back-to-back. The first one lands for heavy resisted damage. The opponent doesn't commit to the Moonblast. This is a double resisted Seed Bomb. Despite the lowered defense, we withstand the damage, make superpower number 2. And despite hard losing lead, getting hard punished on the save switch, KitKat pulls off the dub. Very nicely done. In the next battle, we see more of the same with KitKat, with the same team and facing the same bullshit leads. Once again, we see KitKat looking to utilise the Excadrill save switch, and it looks like deja vu, as once again we're met with a ground type. KitKat fires off the Drill Run. Drill Run forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. KitKat again, going to be looking to make a play at switch. We block the incoming Hydro Cannon. We're going to return fire with Drill Run number 2. The opponent lets it go. KitKat looks for the Mud Shot farm down. Swampert survives on 1 HP and a dream. KitKat smells the opportunity to take back switch, and we are absolutely going to do that. The opponent running double Mud Boy. KitKat makes it apart in Drill Run. Excadrill putting in so much work. Taking back switch is going to be absolutely everything in this battle, as ironically we resist all moves from Wish Daddy Cash unless they've got Blizzard. This opponent doesn't even build up to the Blizzard, which is a very good inkling they don't have it. We then can pivot out, meeting Alolan Ninetales with the absolute wall that is Sonic the Hedgehog. Despite this being Shadow and Shadow Crime, we're easily able to withstand the side shot. KitKat then throws 4 Shadow Claws and the Drill Run for optimal fast move timing. Drill Run secures the knockout. We leave minimal farm for returning Wish Cash and even make a departing Drill Run. This Drill Run rocks Wish Cash down to round a third health. Back out comes Dragonite. We fire off the Dragon Claw on the CMP tie, and that is going to be all she wrote. Another very well played game. Next up, we have the one and only legend that is ex-Boston. And we're going to be taking our first look at the Ultra League. Can you believe this team's in the Ultra League? This is pretty standard. The sort of craziness that Boston loves to run. We lead seaosn into Gramble. Shadow and Shadow Crime, these charms are absolutely eating us. The opponent looks for the full tap tap charm down farm down, but seaosn refuses to die and able to force both protect shields. It's very nice to see the charmer up in the lead. That at least means Salamence doesn't have to face it. We send out Whale Lord, shields up the crunch. The big whale going to be able to get a very nice water gun farm down, but we're already down to around a third health. The opponent sends out Greninja. Boston fires off the Scold. Scold is resisted but lands for heavy resisted damage. We get the attack drop. We pivot out into Salamence. The opponent safe switch into Skeledirge. Skeledirge gets outpaced to the Outrage. Outrage going to be massive overkill. Get that Crocodile out of here. Back out comes Greninja. Boston not even going to respect the incoming charge move. The opponent fires off the Night Slash. We withstand the damage. Dragon Tail farm down and take that game. In the next battle, Boston is running triple steal again in the Open Ultra League. And we've actually got Dugtrio wearing a very silly wig and I'm already laughing. Come on, Jamie, compose yourself, because what isn't funny is a Swampert when we've got a triple steal theme team. Steelix is our best Swampert answer and Boston gets some luck, smiled upon by the RNG gods, getting the attack drop on the first break-in swipe, which of course now only has a 50% chance to force that debuff effect. Boston unwilling to invest his final protection, the opponent full send the Earthquake, but after that break-in swipe debuff, Steelix able to withstand the damage and even make a departing break-in swipe. Steelix manages to get rid of hopefully the biggest threat to our team. Despite Steelix being incredibly low, the opponent unlikely to return with Rayquaza. They send out their third, which is yet another Crocodile. Boston sends out Probopass, these rock throws tearing the opponent apart. Boston completely sacking the wig. Come on, Boston. That's just mean. That Dugtrio is actually maxed out all the way at level 50. Boston has invested 700,000 Stardust to use it as the third shield. Boston manages to force the opponent's final protect shield with the rock slide. Boston gonna shield, hopefully a Shadow Ball. The opponent stays true, doesn't bait us. Boston gets the full rock throw farm down, back out comes Rayquaza. I thought Boston was gonna full send the Zap Cannon, but we settle for the rock slide Rayquaza. So glassy, rock slide secures the dub. GG's. Next up, we've got Boston's entry running triple glass cannons in the Open Ultra League. These Pokemon are so ridiculously glassy. I think Pinsir's ironically the bulkiest member of the team, and it is incredibly difficult to use. But just look how hard it is. That neutral X Scissor did massive damage to Ampharos. The opponent fire off the Brutal Swing. Pinsir able to withstand the damage, and it looks like Pinsir actually wins the Zero Shield. Shadow Pinsir is a mon I've tried to use in Ultra League with very limited success. Boston actually managed to obtain himself early shield advantage. We now send out Sneasler. The opponent fire off the Trailblaze, which would have been resisted. However, Shadow Sneasler cannot tank a hit for shit, so I do respect the shield there. The opponent now send out Poliwrath into Sneasler and Trainer. That is no response. Boston heavily over farms, fires off the Aerial Ace. Sneasler, one of the very few Pokemon to make Aerial Ace look like an ace move rather than the usual arse move we all know it as. Boston able to force the opponent's final protect shield, and we're going to see our own instant no shield deployed. The opponent fire off the Icy Wind. We survive on a sliver of HP. We see the aggressive pivot into Staraptor looking to close. The opponent going to fire off the debuff for the road, then pivot out into Annihilate. No debuff. We'll be saving this opponent's fate. Annihilate's going to be straight in and straight out. Staraptor wing attacks down Poliwrath, and we take that game. Boston one-on-one moderators on Discord and streams these kind of insane teams often. Next up, we've got Cutless Boy again in the Open Ultra League. Nightmare lead Shadow Hitmonchan into Cresselia with a double ghost backline, 2 better responses in the back. We're going to utilise Shadow Bonnet as the safe switch, drawing out Drapion. Cutless Boy shields up the crunch. He's then going to overfarm and full send the Thunder. Does the opponent respect the damage? Get that Drapion out of here. A classic case of fuck around and find out. The opponent certainly found out about the power of Bonnet. The opponent then send out Swampert. We fire the Shadow Ball. The opponent doesn't shield. Bonnet running through this opponent's team. Cutless Boy, despite hard losing lead, has absolutely flipped this game on its head. We send out Gengar. The opponent then pivots back out into Cresselia. Cutless Boy still with 1 protect shield, 2 hard behind. shields up the Moonblast, but at this stage we really don't care. Just look at this Shadow Claw damage. Cutless Boy going to be firing off Shadow Punch after Shadow Punch. The first one forces the Protect Shield. Cutless Boy going straight for Shadow Punch. Number 2, the opponent now all shields down. Cutless Boy then sends back at Hitmonchan, essentially using it as the meat shield. As someone who has a level 50.5 Shadow Hitmonchan, I can tell you it doesn't tank moves particularly well. However, hold that thought, we're able to survive the Moonblast, fire off the close combat. The resisted close combat almost knocks out Gengar. Shadow Claw farms down Cresselia, Shadow Claw farms down Swampert, and we take that game. In the next battle, Cutless Boy is running a Pokemon I believe is called Curlier. I'll be honest, I've never seen anyone run this Pokemon, probably because it gets nowhere near the 1500 CP limit. However, running Magical Leaf is pretty good into Swampert. The opponent save switch into Skarmory with a Dragon and a Grass Flying type in the back. We don't really have any real response. Cutless Boy goes to the Chip and Dip, then sends out Dragonair. Dragonair able to reach the Aqua Tail on the CMP type. Aqua Tail goes unshielded. Looking at Skarmory's health, Cutless Boy should be able to one shield. Dragon Breath farm down with shield at the Sky Attack. Can we get the resisted Dragon Breath farm down? Oof, no we can't. However, luckily, Season 18 Aqua Tail does more damage, so we would have made that farm down. Cutless Boy not sitting in the best spot. We send out Jumpluff, committing to the world's most aggressive Fairy Wind farm down. The opponent send out Swampert, likely just using it to soak up some energy as it is dead weight against our team. We fire off the Aerial Ace. The opponent invests that final Protect Shield, so Cutless Boy opts to sack Curlier. Thank you very much for your contribution. It's now all down to Jumpluff again. Cutless Boy over farms, fires off the Aerial Ace. If the opponent's shield, they must be so weak in the back. The opponent actually do invest that Protect Shield. What is hiding from this Jumpluff? Come on, trainer, bring it out. The opponent fire off the Hydro Cannon, then pivot out into the silly electric fish, thinking at worst this is an energy ball. Well, surprise, motherfucker. Get Beam, get that silly electric fish out of here, back out. Come Swampert, the opponent is going to need to Sludge Wave to take us out. They fire off the resisted Hydro Cannon. We withstand the damage. I thought Cutless Boy was going to commit to the next beam, but Aerial Ace is going to be more than enough to get the job done. GG's, and thanks for playing. After getting beamed to the face, the opponent probably hasn't just rage quit the app, they've probably uninstalled the game. In the next battle, we got Shadow, Wish Daddy Cash into Ampharos, a great lead. We pivot into Haunter. You might be thinking this looks pretty good. However, look at the CP. This is an Ultra League Haunter. What an incredible flex from Cutless Boy. You would be excused in thinking this is a great league team, but Cutless Boy has excelled all 3 of these Pokemon all the way to level 50, which is just insane. I'll be honest, I'm so jealous. Despite being well below the 2500 CP league limit, Cutless Boy able to win CMP against Toxicroak, which is an incredibly attack-weighted Pokemon. Cutless Boy even forces the opponent's final Protect Shield with the Ice Punch. Cutless Boy not out the woods yet, as Wish Daddy Cash isn't going to fancy tanking a Trailblaze, and Gilbot doesn't want any part of this work. The opponent full send the Trailblaze, then pivot out into Trevenant, looking to snipe. We save the Scald for the road, and then send out Gilbot. Cutless Boy going to respect the potential Shadow Ball. The opponent like an absolute savage bait with the Seed Bomb, but undeterred, Cutless Boy over farms. Full sends the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball, massive overkill. Back out comes Ampharos. It's very unlikely they've got Trailblaze and Thunder Punch, so at worst this is a brutal swing, which we survive. Cutless Boy doesn't commit to the Shadow Ball, settles for the Poison Fang. Poison Fang isn't lethal, the opponent doesn't leave with a charge move. We've got the move bank, and Cutless Boy's incredible flex team is going to pick up the dub. GG's, and thanks for playing. We've got 2 more entries to see from Cutless Boy. There was no limit on how many times you could enter. You could enter as many times as you wanted, and I just picked through my favourite battles. We lead Dragonite into Poliwrath. Not as good a lead as you might expect, as the opponent can tank 1 move and we cannot tank a double super effective Icy Wind. Cutless Boy throws the Dragon Claw, the opponent invests that Protect Shield. Cutless Boy gonna match, of course, trying to keep Dragonite somewhat healthy. The opponent then pivot out into Ampharos. Looks like Cutless Boy happy to stay in, looking to chip this Ampharos. We farm up, throw the Dragon Claw forces the opponent's final protection. They even dump energy. Dragonite goes down to the incoming Brutal Swing. We now send out Drapion. Drapion able to outpace to the Crunch. However, Crunch won't quite be lethal from this range. Ampharos survives in the red. We then pivot out into Gengar. Gengar will be instantly shielding up this incoming Brutal Swing, and we're going to get a very nice running start. This is a very scary position for Cutless Boy to be in, having Gengar with no Protect Shields. Too high behind, the opponent sends out Greninja, banks some energy, then look to make the catch. Back onto Peria. Cutless Boy goes for a very cheeky undercharge, but the opponent make a last second charge move. Gengar just about survives the icy win. The opponent send back out Greninja, look for the water shriek and farm down. They don't get it. We reach the focus blast, and that is going to be all she wrote. What a boon. Heading into the next battle, we our shiny Shadow Dragonite into Dragalge, the battle of the oppressive dragons. Blink, and you might miss this one as it's going to be a tap-tap, fast move beatdown all the way. Cutless Boy farms up, throws the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw forces the protection, will then pivot out into Ampharos. Ampharos doesn't have a particularly good matchup here, but the opponent farming up 1 bazillion energy, allowing us to make the Brutal Swing first, which does force a protection. The opponent bank all their energy and then send out Virizion. Ampharos on this moveset, completely walled by Virizion. We fire off the Thunder Punch and that just tickles. The opponent actually don't overfarm all that much, opt to throw the Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword doesn't secure the knockout, so the opponent gets one further double kick. Once again, Cutless Boy has Gengar lurking in the back, and we're going to bring it out. The opponent farming up to a potential Stone Edge. Cutless Boy thinking about calling it last second. We invest that protection. The opponent does indeed have Stone Edge, a very, very good shield. Cutless Boy looks like he was trying to CMP. However, we actually didn't get the move off. Cutless Boy once again shields up the incoming Stone Edge. The opponent then pivot out into Gengar. Cutless Boy with so much energy fires off the first Shadow Ball, rocking this silly tin can down below half health. Cutless Boy then makes a very, very savage catch, catching the Zap Cannon onto Dragonite. Back out comes Gengar. Gengar fires off the Shadow Punch. Shadow Punch won't quite be lethal, but we are going to be able to Shadow Claw, farm down afterwards. We leave with the Shadow Ball. Dragalge not going to tank this Shadow Ball to the face particularly well. The opponent send it out. It's going to be high Dragalge, by Dragalge, get fucking wrecked, and Virizion is going to get Shadow Claw farm down, and Cutless Boy takes the dub. Cutless Boy flexing all sorts of spice. In the next battle, we've got an entry from King Peria. We see the battle of the fire type Shadow Ho-Oh into Blaziken. What spice from both trainers. I don't think Ho-Oh is going to tank this move particularly well. The resisted Blaze Kick near knocks us out. We then see the simul swap of Bonnet into Latias. Whoa, this opponent also a Spice Lord. King Peria looking for the one shield and Shadow Claw farm down, which we get. The opponent might send back out Blaziken and look for the aggressive double resisted counter farm down. Back out comes Blaziken. King Peria fires off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball goes unshielded. The opponent saving both Protect Shields for the one and only GOAT, Shadow Swampert. We send out Ice Fang Mighty Enna. Switch timer isn't quite up yet. I think we need to make a catch to win. King Peria shields up the Hydro Cannon. Switch timer does pop up, and stay in school, kids. Learn to count. We make a very nice catch. Catching the Hydro Cannon back onto Ho-Oh. Back out comes Mighty Enna. We Ice Fang farm down and take that game. Shout out to both King Peria and his opponent, both flexing very cool triple shadow teams. Moving on to the next battle, we've got one of my good friends, Solid Snake. We see a pretty bad lead, however the opponent do us a favour, switching out into the Crocodile, and we answer him with a Alolan Marowak, a Pokemon as Onyx calls the GOAT. Solid correctly shields up the Shadow Ball, then fires off 3 Fire Spins and the Shadow Ball for optimal fast move timing, only giving away 1 free turn. Shadow Bone forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. Marowak able to outpace to Shadow Bone number 2, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent now all shields down. Solid happy with Marowak's contribution. The opponent actually bait with a Disarming Voice. They're now forced to dump further energy. This is now very, very playable. With a Protect Shield, hopefully the Slow King, the king of all the slows, is going to be able to sweep this team. Unfortunately, the opponent make a last second charge move. We shield up the Disarming Voice. Solid now have no Protect Shields, too high behind. The opponent sends out Trevenant. We then make a savage catch, catching the Seed Bomb back onto Shiftry. Solid, you sir are a legend. Back out comes Poliwrath. Solid being very disciplined, throwing at good timing despite getting torn apart by these counters. Leaf Blade isn't quite lethal. Back out comes Slow King. We get the Confusion farm down, leave with the Fire Blast, and you already know it's going to be time to get that Trevenant out of here, and Solid picks up a very satisfying dub. In the next battle, Solid Snake leads Shiftry into Annihilate. That is a yikes if I ever did see one. We pivot into Alolan Marowak, and this time we are hard punished by Wish Daddy Cash. We see the instant no shield deployed. The opponent fire off the Mud Bomb. Marowak able to withstand the damage again. Solid being very disciplined. 1 Fire Spin and the Shadow Bone. Shadow Bone goes unshielded. The opponent looking for the mud shot farm down, but Marowak refuses to die, reaches one further Shadow Bone, forcing us shield advantage in the mid game. Hopefully this isn't the one and only Wish Cache still running Blizzard. We send out Shift Tree, we see the instant no shield deployed. The opponent fire off the skull, but to be honest, even the resisted skull did a lot of damage. Again, solid, looking to maximise his energy. The opponent fire off one further skull. The opponent then go for the snipe with Annihilate. It's now all down to Slowking once again to clean up. Solid with 2 Protect Shields, lightly shields up, respecting a Night Slash. The opponent actually running Ice Punch, which would have been resisted. However, Slowking does get the full Confusion farm down. What is that third Pokemon? The opponent send out Skarmory, and do they know? The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Fire Blast goes unshielded, and the opponent can save that shield for next season. GG's, and thanks for playing. Holy crap, Solid. You aren't getting much luck with leads, are you, buddy? The opponent actually do us a favour, pivoting out into Wiggles, despite actually winning lead. I don't know, but we're going to take it. We answer the Wigglytuff save switch with Alolan Marowak. Alolan Marowak does resist all moves. The opponent fire off the Icy Wind, looking to debuff us. Solid actually baiting with a double resisted Shadow Bone, recognising Charmers, generally shield everything. This opponent doesn't invest that Protect Shield. Solid actually manages to get a very nice Fire Spin farm down. We leave with the Blast. Just YOLO it, Solid. Just YOLO it at anything. Back out. Comes Clodsire, we full send the Fire Blast goes unshielded, but after a debuff that did absolutely pitiful damage. Marowak, you let me down, buddy. It now becomes very apparent why the opponent switched out of that lead matchup, because they're running double charm, but Gramble is shown who's the king of the fast move beatdown as Slowking outpaces them on the fast move damage, managing to Confusion farm them all the way down before the opponent got the tap charm down farm down. We even left with the Surf forcing a Protect Shield. We've now got Shift Tree versus Clodsire, but Solid has shield advantage. We shield up the Stone Edge. Solid then throws Freeze Snails and the Leaf Blade for optimal fast move time, and Solid now looking to double up. The first Leaf Blade forced the final Protect Shield. The next Leaf Blade actually knocks out, so Solid didn't even need one further Leaf Blade, and Shift Tree is a Clodsire counter confirmed. In the next battle, we have Shadow King giving us some Master League action. We lead Cowboy at Shadow Snorlax, which unfortunately I don't have, and I'm very jealous of, into a Frost Breath Mew. What a flex from both trainers. It's not a particularly good matchup for Mew. Looks like the opponent likely going for the chip, and if they fire off the Wild Charge, the big thick boys bolt coming in clutch. The opponent then pivot out into Giratina. Trainer, that isn't the switch you are looking for. The opponent likely hoping that we went for the classic I switch, you switch, but Shadow King says, nah, I'm cool, bro. I'm just going to stay here with my chilled hat on and lick the shit out of you. You can see these licks tearing through Giratina, and they are hitting us for double resisted. This Cowboy Hat Snorlax looking particularly stoned. I think all Shadows look pretty stoned, but Snorlax looks so baked, it's unbelievable. Much like Giratina, Snorlax can only hit for double resisted with its charge moves of Body Slam and Superpower, as Ghost double resist both normal and fighting respectively. In this very long, drawn out battle, the big thick boy certainly comes out on top. Giratina left in the red, and the opponent now has no Protect Shields. Shadow King sends out Chandelure. Chandelure looking for the resisted Incinerate farm down. Unfortunately, Giratina makes the last second charge move. Shadow King now also all shields down. However, we have got a party trick with that big Poltergeist boom. Out comes Togekiss, greeted with the Poltergeist. Does Poltergeist one shot? Oh, no it doesn't. We managed to snipe with a single Bullet Seed. The opponent probably thinking, what the heck is on my screen? Back out comes Mew. We commit to the Solar Beam and we make it. And Shadow King is going to land back-to-back booms and take that game. To round off the video, we've got some battles from none other than Gilbot, someone I feature regularly who always runs incredible spice. We lead Croconaw into Skarmory. Croconaw fires off the Ice Punch, forcing a Protect Shield. I think this season is going to be all about Croconaw's big brother Feraligatr, as it got a huge buff. Interestingly enough, this Skarmory is still running Air Slash. I think most did switch over to Steel Wing because Air Slash is so clunky. It looks like Croconaw might actually win the 2 shields. Let's see. Gilbot shields up the Sky Attack, looks for the Water Gun farm down, and we get it. It's now all shields down. The opponent sends out Skarmory's partner in crime, none other than Wish Daddy Cash. We fire off the Crunch, fish for the debuff, which we don't get. The opponent doesn't commit to the Mud Shot farm down. They opt to throw the Mud Bomb. However, Trainer, my god, do we have a surprise for you in the form of Shadow Grovyle. The opponent then pivot out into Gligar. Gligar chooses flying, ground typing, takes neutral from grass, and that Leaf Blade did so much damage. Gilbot then pivots out into Staravia. The opponent fire off the aerial ace. We withstand the damage. Staravia gets the wing attack farm down, leaves with the Brave Bird. It's going to be high wish cash, buy wish cash. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we lead Shadow Electivire into Palkia Origin. The Dragon Breath doing absurd damage. Gilbot going straight wild charge, force of Protect Shield. We then pivot out into another Cowboy Hat, Shadow Snorlax. Snorlax invests the Protect Shield. The opponent throws the new charge move of Spatial Rand, which would have done a lot of damage. Snorlax returns fire with the Body Slam. The opponent make another charge move. It looks like Gilbot going all in on Snorlax. The opponent continuing to go straight Spatial Rand all the way. Snorlax does get the lick farm down. Will leave with a lot of energy. Out comes Extra Drill. Gilbot baits with the Body Slam, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Snorlax now fires off the Superpower. Nearly one-shots. We then snipe with Typhlosion. A level 50 Shadow Typhlosion. What a flex. The opponent's final Pokemon is Xerneas. This Blast Burn nearly knocks out the opponent. The opponent gonna return fire with the Moonblast, unwilling to lower their own defense. We're able to reach Blast Burn number 2, and that is gonna be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Heading into the final battle, we lead Gramble into Guzzlord. We're actually running Snarl, so the opponent wasn't actually in the worst spot. They then pivot out into Charizard. We fire off the Crunch, force the Protect Shield. We then pivot out into Luxray. Gilbot looking to call the bait. The opponent full send a Blast Burn. Luxray just about survives. We return fire with the Psychic Fang. Psychic Fang forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. We then send out Arcanine. This is actually a double Snarl team. We fire off one further Psychic Fang. Psychic Fang secures the knockout. Guzzlord might come back in expecting to all moves from Arcanine. However, Gilbot is actually running Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands does some reasonable chip damage. Definitely puts this thing into close combat range. Gilbot with 2 Protect Shields, 2 High Beyond, gonna shield up a Crunch, which would be resisted, but you got 2 shields, you may as well use them. The opponent doesn't make a catch. This close combat going to be massive overkill. Get that Guzzlord out of here. The opponent's final Pokemon is Poliwrath. Gilbot fires off the Crunch first, fishing for the defense shot, which we get. We're able to outpace to the close combat. Is close combat enough to knock out? No, it's not. The opponent actually managed to get the resisted counter farm down. Back out comes Arcanine. At this stage, Gilbot just going to shield up whatever they throw. They go for the Icy Wind, but we still manage to get the resisted Snarl farm down and take that game. Huge shout out to my Discord community for bringing us some epic battles. If you want to join the Discord, it is linked down below. Vote and we'll start on my community tab in the next few days to find out the winner of Season 17's best battle. As always, I'd like to say thanks for everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in Season 18.